Hello, everyone. How are you? Thank you for joining the webinar. Hope you can hear me well and you can see my screen. We'll just wait another couple of seconds to hopefully more people joining. Okay, we can start. Well, thank you again for joining our webinar for Plumsail Documents. My name is Katrina, and I'm also joined by Peter, who specializes in Plumsail Documents. So if you have any questions during the webinar, please type them in the chat and he'll make sure to answer them, or you can save them for our Q&A session at the end. So up to you. But if you see something that's it's not very clear during the webinar, just enter your question into the chat and we'll take care of it. So yeah, let's take a look what's on the agenda for today's webinar. First of all, we'll take a look what is documents, what you can do with it, and how to go about it. Next, we'll see how to automatically generate documents in various formats such as PDF, DOCX, Excel, PowerPoint, and we'll take a look from the position of Power Automate. We'll also see how to use the template formatting and advanced syntax in your templates. Then we'll see what else is possible in Power Automate. So we'll take a look at other actions. We'll also look at the key features that are coming down the line. We'll check our roadmap. And as I mentioned earlier, we can also have the Q&A session if you have any questions left at the end. So let's see. So I know a lot of you are familiar with Plumsail Documents and have been using it for a while. So thank you for being with us. But we have a few people here that are not familiar with the product, and it would be great to just do a general recap of what you can do. So, and it's not just document generation tool. There's a lot you can do with it. But yes, one of the main points is to auto-generate documents from templates. Then you can send them by email, collect e-signatures, save it to your preferred cloud storage. Then you can also integrate Plumsail Documents with your current system that you're using to get the data and for it to be inserted into the document. You can do so through Power Automate, Make, Zapier, or REST API. We also have a direct integration with Airtable that I'll mention later during the webinar. You can also perform a wide range of other actions in Power Automate, Zapier, Make. We'll take a look at that during today as well. And let's first look at the generation of documents. So there are actually two ways that you can do so. One is using Plumsail processes, which is an all-in-one combo feature that executes document generation, converts your, let's say, doc or Excel file into PDF if needed. Then you can also protect that PDF, insert a watermark, and then you can set up one or more deliveries all in one process, hence the name. The other option is to store your template in a selected cloud storage, for example, SharePoint library, and then generate a document using one of the automation tools like Power Automate. So today we'll look at the, not today. First, we're going to look at the document process. So for this, I'm going to open my Plumsail account. We're right now on the main page, so let's select Documents. As you can see, I have quite a few processes already created, but if you want to add a new one or you're starting from scratch, just click Add Process and you have two options. So you can select one of many templates that are located in our template library, or if you have your own template, just start from blank, select your template format, give it a name, and you're ready to go. But as I mentioned, I already have a demo prepared for this webinar, so we're gonna click Edit. And here we go. So this template is in Word format, and this is a contract of employment. So the template would be consists of two parts. So we have our fixed data. As you can see, this is the main body of the contract. And also we have our tokens, and tokens are enclosed in curly brackets like we see right here. And they represent fields where the dynamic data will be inserted using one of the automation tools. Here we have just regular tokens. As you can see, full name, date, job title, office location. But you can also use tokens to pass through dynamic tables, which we'll look actually in the next demo. You can also insert images, barcodes. You can calculate your values. Templates also support more complex logic, like hide and show content, which we have actually in this template. So we'll take a look in a second. But before we proceed to see how to show and hide certain blocks of text, let's take a look at this date token. So date is the main body of the token, and then we also inserted a formatter for the US date format. You can switch it to European, where the date comes first before the month. And there are a lot of other formatters present in the template syntax. For example, you can add currency symbols, you can hide and show the content, you can insert pictures using formatters. There's a lot you can do, and depending on the format of your template, so we have the template syntax details for each of the formats here in our documentation. So you can refer to this and see how you can structure your template. But overall, the logic is the same for all templates. You have your fixed data and you have your dynamic tokens where you need the data to be inserted. So let's go to the bottom of this contract to see the how to hide or show certain content. So here I have a non-disclosure agreement, pretty standard for the employment contract. And here we have the main body of the token, which is include NDA. And then we added the map formatter, which indicates if the value that's passed into this token will be yes, that means that this body of the text will be inserted. So the employee needs to agree to keep everything confidential, and the NDA clause will be added. If the value that is passed into the token will be no, then there's going to be just a quick note that non-disclosure agreement may be required at a later stage of employment. You can also leave, for example, this blank, and in case if it's yes, insert the text. If it's no, don't insert the text. So, and obviously you can use a logic further. So this is for our template here. Let's quickly look at the bar on top. So you can edit your template either online or in the desktop application. You can test the template. You can click on tokens, and this will give you the rundown of all the tokens that you have in your template. Our template is pretty simple. We have just a few tokens, but if you have a lot of them, this comes in handy. You can also copy the tokens from here if you need to. Then you can upload a new template, download this one, etc. So let's proceed to the next step, which is settings. For the template mode, I already activated the production, but if you're still fine-tuning your process, you can keep it in testing. Next, we have the output file name. And again, it consists of the fixed data, which is employment contract. And then you can also use tokens. All of the ones that you added into your template, you can add them here and make the output file name dynamic for easier identification down the line. Next, the output type. So you can keep it in your original format with whether it's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or HTML, or you can switch it to PDF. So let's see what's the PDF options. You can add your own watermark if you need to. Oops. And then you can also protect your PDF with a password, disable certain modifications to the document, but let's keep it in Word for our demo. And also let's look at the modern, in the advanced settings. So here we also have two separate engines for the template. Modern is a new feature that we added recently. We are committed to making life easier for our users, and Modern Engine is designed to bring more flexibility, better logic, and easier handling of complex document scenarios within the template itself. If you're still using the classic one, don't worry, it's fully supported and you can continue using it, but maybe you want to experiment with a modern engine. And as you can see, our template was designed with a modern engine in mind. And again, in the documentation section on our website, you can read more on the types of tokens, types of formatting that is available for each engine. Or you can also click on here and view the article. So then you can select time zone, location, etc. So let's click Save and Next. And now we're on to our last step here, which is delivery. I already said 2 here, but let's look at all the options. So first of all, you can send your generated document via email. So you can select Gmail, Outlook, Zoho, or connect to other client. Then you can select one of the cloud storages or send it to be e-signed or Slack, Teams. Also, webhook is available. These integrations are direct, so all you need to do is click, log in into your account with one of these services, and ready to go. So let's look at the SharePoint library delivery. So I logged into my account and I selected the library where I want my document to be saved. And also I'm creating a folder in that library, and here you'll be able to use the tokens that you added to your template as well. So this is great. Next, let's look at the Outlook delivery. It looks just like a regular email setup. So obviously for demo purposes, I'm sending it from myself to myself, but you can also, for example, if you have an email token to your customer or one of the stakeholders that is mentioned in the template via a token, so you can insert the email like this. You can also use tokens in the subject, in the body of the email, and also you can specify the reply address if you want it to be different than your account address. So it's simple as that, very easy to set up the process. So now let's look how you can actually trigger it and where you can get the data from. So first one is the web forms, which is our other product, Plumsail Public Web Forms. And with this integration, it's completely direct and you don't need Power Automate, Make, or Zapier to connect. All you need to do is click on it, and auto-generated form is already available. You can click Customize and take it further. So but let's look at other ones. You can also create bulk documents using CSV or Excel file. You can use custom JSON, Power Automate, which we'll look in a few moments. Then we have Make integration, Zapier, and just a quick note, though we'll be looking at Power Automate today, the same actions and the same logic is available through Make and Zapier if that's your choice of automation. And as I mentioned earlier, we also have a direct extension inside the Airtable, which you can add to your table or the interfaces and generate documents using the processes. And if you cannot find the system that you use in any of these automation tools, you can connect it through REST API. And before we go to Power Automate, let's quickly look at API keys. So these ones you need to create to connect to Power Automate to make calls, and also to connect through a REST API with your other system. Then we also have reports, which is a great tool to monitor what is happening, how many documents are generated, what type of executions. For example, here we have 11 processes being executed, and we also have this action happening in Power Automate. So you can export to CSV. And last final thing, you can also add team members to your account so you can collaborate all in one account. So here we're done with the on the process side. So let's go to Power Automate. There we go. So I'm starting this flow with the automated cloud trigger from SharePoint, which is when an item is created. So the idea here is someone creates a new item with an employee information. Let me show you how it looks. So this is our list. As you can see, we have full name, job title, start date, location, and whether the employee needs to sign an NDA or no. And as you remember, in our token, we indicated the value is either yes or no. So let's look here. So these are all of our tokens, and this one is yes or no. So this is where we set up in SharePoint list 2 options. Then when the item is added, we have an approval, which is going to the manager, and the manager needs to either approve or reject. If the new item or new employee is approved, the document is generated. If no, there will be an email sent to the requester with the reason why it was rejected, but that's not really important for us right now. So let's look at the start document generation process with JSON. We also have another action available without JSON where you have the fields automatically pop up where you have the tokens. Either or, whichever you prefer. In the process name, you can select any of the processes that you have created in your account. They will be available. And then in the template data, I matched all the tokens. So as you can see here, full name, date, job title, office location, include NDA. So for these purposes, we are using only the main body of the token. We don't need to use the formatters because that's just for the templating engine to know what type of data is coming in. And then we matched it with the dynamic data from our SharePoint list. So right here. And yeah, so this is a pretty easy flow. It can be more complicated, but let's save it and test it. Okay, we'll test it manually. Great, let's go to our SharePoint list, add a new item. And by the way, quick note, this form was customized with our other product, which is Plumsail Forms for SharePoint. Start date, we'll choose today's date. Needs to sign NDA, we'll choose yes. Click save, and let's take a look at our flow. Oh, I also need to open Outlook, right? So let's see. But usually actually, oh, here we go. I have the notification here in Teams. Somehow it comes faster. So let's see. Let me pull it on the screen. So here we get our approval. We also have the link to our file. So, sorry, not to file, the item that we created in the SharePoint list. So the manager can quickly review what's been added. Okay, great. Go back to Teams and click approve. Okay, now let's go back to the flow and see. Okay, here we go. It's running. As you can see, it's selected yes, and the document is being generated. In our documents process, we specified that the document will be emailed and saved to document library. So let's check. Oh, the document library already has the folder with the contract, Patrick Brown. So let's open it and see that everything is there. Great. So we have our employee name, the date, today's date. He is position sales director, office location in Houston, and drum roll. Here we go. We have our non-disclosure agreement. So we have the full text. I highlighted it so it's easier to see, but obviously you don't need to do it in your templates. Yeah, and let's also see if we got the, yep. And here we also have our email in the Outlook with the same document attached as a Word document. So it's just as easy as that. Again, your flow can be more complicated or even easier. So let me open our next demo. So as I mentioned earlier, you can also generate documents if you store your template in a cloud storage, not in Plumsail account. So for this, there are a few actions available for each format. Our next template is in PowerPoint format. I know a lot of you have requested to see how to generate great looking presentations. So we'll see how to do that right now. So this action is called create document from PowerPoint template. Same actions available for create document from Word template, from Excel template, and HTML template. So the template file is pulled from the action before it. We'll take a look shortly. The template data is structured in the same way that we used in the generate document from a process. So we have it in JSON where we have our tokens matched with the dynamic data pulled from the previous actions. In the document output type, you can also keep it either in the original file format, PowerPoint in our case, or convert it to PDF. But if you choose it to convert to PDF and you, for example, want to add a watermark or protect it, you'll need to add a different action for that. So we'll keep it in PowerPoint for our intents and purposes. So let's look at the template before we proceed further. So this is our PowerPoint that is filled with just tokens for now. Let's look at the first slide. So we have the product name for companies. So this is going to be like a product offer presentation that, for example, a salesperson can generate for a new customer. You might be looking at this. What is this ugly, ugly picture here? Well, this one is actually for inserting to dynamically insert images inside your PowerPoint template. So though in other formats like Word format, you can just insert that formatter picture like we did the formatter with date, but the syntax for PowerPoint is slightly different. And as I mentioned earlier, you can refer to our documentation. There's everything on how to do this, but long story short, to insert pictures, you need to insert a picture placeholder, which is right here, this white square. And to add a token, you right click, alt text, and our logo image token is right here. And here we also adding the picture formatter. So the templating engine knows that it needs to insert a picture or it needs to decode a picture. And we also added the dimensions here. These dimensions are in pixels. And we also let the templating engine know that it needs to fit the image that's passed into the template into this placeholder. So again, let's look at the next slide. And here we have a dynamic table. I know, again, a lot of you have requested to see how to do it, how to automatically insert multiple rows into a table, or it could be also, for example, a list, and it's available with other types of dynamic data insertion, but we'll take a look at the table here. So for this, we're using nested tokens, which are tokens separated by the dot operator. So the pricing, as you can see, is what unites all of these tokens in one collection. We'll take a look at it shortly in the Power Automate, how we pull the data together. And we also added a formatter for the currency. So since this is a pricing column, we added format C, which means that it's going to be a $sign before the number. And the templating engine is smart enough to understand when it sees that there are nested tokens, that the data needs to be duplicated and inserted from the data source. So, and last slide, we have, again, just regular tokens, employee name, employee email, employee phone, sorry. So yeah, it's pretty easy to just use your own template, add tokens where you regularly insert data manually, maybe by just copying and pasting from an Excel spreadsheet. I know we have a lot of people coming for that. So let's look at our Power Automate. So we already kind of looked at our action from Plumsail. So let's start from the beginning. So I'm using here the same or similar action trigger as I used in the previous demo when an item is created in a SharePoint list. This list is product offers. Let's quickly look at it. So when, again, a salesperson adds a new company name, selects a product that they want to showcase for this customer. We have product description, who is preparing it. Again, for demo purposes, it's only me here, but you can insert other people, obviously. Employee name, employee phone, and we have attachment for the logo image. So let's go back, and then we need to get file content. That's, again, to take our template that will be converting into a document later. So this is the product offer template that is stored in a SharePoint library. And this is the template that I'm pulling into the Power Automate. And we are actually using two lists to generate the document. So we have the get item from product offer list, and we also have get items from product pricing list. So the product pricing list is what will populate the table with the plan name, description, and price. So that's why we need to use both actions here. Next, we need to initialize the variable. This is to pull the data together for our dynamic table. So we're creating a name for the array, which is pricing. And next, we append to array variable, and we specify the array that we just created. And here in JSON format, we match the tokens with the dynamic data from the previous action, which was to get items from that from this list. And as you can see here, the tokens are just plan, description, and price. So this is the second part of our nested tokens in the table. Next, we're getting the attachments to get our product logo to be inserted as an image in our template. And our final couple of steps. So we get the attachment content to insert the image in the template. And we're looking again at our Plumsail Documents action. So here I also wanted to say a few words about the logo image and how we are passing into the template. So the picture formatter works great with the public URLs, so where you can just insert it here. But since since we store our image in a SharePoint library and it's not a publicly accessible URL, we're using a base64 expression, which encodes the image, and then the template decodes it and pastes the logo image in our template. So here I included in the body get attachment content, and this is the action that we're pulling it from. And finally, we need to create the file and store it. So here I'm using a SharePoint action, create a file. I designated the folder path. For the file name, I used the dynamic content, which is the company name. And finally, in the file content, we used the result file from the previous Plumsail Documents action. So if you have other data sources, you can create a flow similar to this. If you need any help, let us know. Our tech support is always happy to give you advice or any guidance. You can also use, for example, like Dataverse, Dynamics, or any other system available through Power Automate. And though, again, as I mentioned earlier, we are using Power Automate as an example. You can create similar flows in Make and Zapier. Again, this action is available there too. So let's save this flow and test it to see if everything works. Okay, let's go into our product offers, and we add a new item. Again, this form was designed by Plumsail Forms for SharePoint if you're interested. So let's do the company. The product will select documents, we'll select description, employee. Again, I'll be adding myself. Add some dummy email. This is a dummy phone as well. Please don't call me. Okay. Let's click save. Go to our, oops, different flow, not yet. Okay, as you can see, all the actions have run through. So just the document is being generated. Might take a second. Okay, great. So everything ran successfully. So let's look at our, oops, let me move this right here. So we have the documents here. Oh, there we go. Already, PowerPoint is already generated. And here we go. So no more, let's compare it side by side. So this was our template. And as you can see, now we have a nice documents logo inserted. We have documents, which is the product for the company that we inserted, some information about the product. And we have our dynamic table here, which pulled all the information from, from this list. So, and we also have the formatter for the for adding the $ here. And finally, we have the thank you with my name, dummy email, dummy phone. So, yeah. You can create a similar flow, use maybe other action. For example, if you will have a Word template or HTML template. So this is it for the live demo session. We'll also take a look at other actions that we have in Power Automate, as I promised earlier. So here I have another Power Automate flow for split PDF. That's another very popular action that our users use a lot. Where you can split your PDF and later, for example, send by email as it's done here as an attachment. But let's look at other actions. There's quite a few available. So all you need to do is look for Plumsail, select documents, and we have quite a few here. So you can add a watermark to PDF, compress PDF, convert various formats to other formats. And this is the one that we just looked at, create document from PowerPoint template. And as I mentioned, there's other there are actions for the other formats available as well. You can also fill in PDF form, fill merge fields in DOCX document, then get form from PDF, get profile info, merge different formats, protect PDF document, then also regular expression actions are available. The split PDF that we just looked, these are the ones that we used in the first demo. So start document generation process with JSON, and I mentioned there is one without JSON. And we're constantly adding new actions to the Power Automate, Zapier, and Make. Keep looking if there's anything new. We're also sending, usually sending emails if there's an update. And if you have anything else that you're looking and maybe missing in for document generation or any other operations with documents, let us know. We are always happy to hear what our customers and users need at the moment, what they need to automate. So we're happy to hear any feedback. So now let's look at a couple of customer stories that hopefully will give you more ideas and inspiration what is possible with Plumsail Documents and how you can automate your routine daily workflows. So let's return to our presentation. And the first customer story is from our partner, Win-On 365. They're a consulting company based in Switzerland, and they help organizations boost efficiency by automation and automation to generate documents as well. Here's a couple of benefits that they highlight for using Plumsail Documents. They really enjoy the powerful templating syntax that we actually looked right now at with both demos, like conditional values, attribute-based calculations. They find the system very scalable, and they really enjoy the support team. So thank you. Thank you, Win-On. Let's look at one of their clients and use cases. So this was done for the medical treatment center. And the challenge that they had is actually a lot of people come to us with this challenge where some tracking system that they use, in this case, it's internal cost tracking system, is still dependent on manual data entry. In this case, they still used Excel spreadsheets, which led to frequent user conflicts, general inefficiency, typos, you name it. And the solution that they developed was to create a centralized automated system where the medical providers, so since it's a medical treatment center, there are various medical providers that perform certain procedures. So these providers submit their expenses, and then they are reviewed by the team and approved or not. And then those expenses are converted into charges for patients. And the patient has a complete and auditable cost record as well. The systems that they used was a Power Platform application comprised of Power Apps, Power Automate, SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, and Outlook. And Plumsail Documents was used in the Power Automate flow to generate the final invoice. So we're going to take a look at how it actually was structured. So this is the Power Apps wizard that they created as a front end for, as we can see, we have the client name, the period summary, the start date, when they received certain services from the treatment center. And when they click on the generate summary, there was Power Apps formula behind it that, as you can see, it gathered the client data, the period of time, the services selected. And then the Power Automate flow was triggered. So they took the list rows from Dataverse using fetch XML queries with various filters to retrieve the specific data that is required for the creating of the invoice. So you can see the dynamic filters based on the selection from the form wizard that we looked in previously. And then they used some variables again to create the document from DOCX template. So this is a similar action that we looked at with PowerPoint. And yeah, so they put everything together in a variable, and that's why there's just one output. But as you can see, their flow is way more complex than I showed earlier. So there's a lot you can do with these, with the product. And finally, so this was their invoice template. As you can see, they used a lot of tokens, formatters. They used a table as well here, which populated with services that a client received. The next customer story is for LDD Construction. They are a current user of ours. As the name suggests, they are a construction service provider. They highlighted the following benefits of using Plumsail Documents. Again, they highlight the ease of use for formatting in Word templates. That they digitalized their report delivery and storage. And they also like the seamless integration with Plumsail public web forms. So let's look at what was their use case. So they had a problem where the on-site construction reports were still being produced with pen and paper, which led to misunderstandings, errors, and delays. So they wanted to come up with a solution where they can create online forms that can be filled out on site. Then after the form is submitted, it triggers a Power Automate flow and generates an official report using Plumsail Documents. And as a result, using Plumsail Documents and Forms, they improved record accessibility because everything was stored in a SharePoint library. They eliminated the need for physical storage and enabled easy retrieval of project details. So you can now see them, look them up all on phones, emails, or SharePoint. So let's see how it actually looked. So this is the form that they created. As you can see, the form has many steps. So I believe they also they took pictures and passed the images or pictures through the form itself to make sure that they have all the data on the construction site. And again, this was created with Plumsail Forms. Then they created a Power Automated flow that was triggered on the form submission. So as you can see, once the form is submitted, they collect the images that were taken and uploaded with the form. Next, they set up a condition. So if the form has a finish date, it will trigger the document generation here. Let's look at the next portion of the slide. So they used a lot of tokens in their template, and then they matched all the tokens with the dynamic data from the previous steps. So you can see job number, start date, finish dates. See next, the images, the area of images in this case. And then they converted the DOCX to PDF. Actually, after we had this customer story with them, we noticed that they used Convert DOCX with PDF, though they're using Start Document Generation process. So we let them know that they actually can do this inside the process, no need for an extra action. And finally, they created a condition since they had at that point 2 job sites, and they didn't want to mix the records from different job sites. So depending on the job number, which had like a prefix for the construction site, they created two flows where one file, if the job site, for example, was A, then the file will be stored in the SharePoint library that is related to that construction site. If the construction site was B, it would be stored in another file storage. And also the email was sent with the generated file. So let's see how it looked. So this is their final worksheet that was filled out using Plumsail Documents. Quite a complex one with tables, with a lot of data. So hopefully this this gives you a better idea of what is possible. And now let's look at what's coming next for the Plumsail Documents. So first, new and exciting feature that a lot of people actually requested, and that's what I mentioned earlier. If you need anything, let us know. We'd be happy to create new features that you actually need. So this one is for creating and delivering documents from multiple templates in various formats. So we looked at the beginning where we had just one template in Word format, and then it was delivered. So soon we're going to have that process consisting of multiple templates if you need, and you can also deliver them using various services. Next feature that's coming soon is modern templating engine for Excel templates. We're slowly working on adding the modern templating engine for all the formats. So the Word template already has that option. Excel is getting the upgrade next. And we're also introducing some improvements to the modern templating engine in Word templates. And finally, is the data protection and security upgrades. We take it very seriously, and as you can see, we're already certified with GDPR and CCPA. But in a month or two, we're also getting the SOC 2 and HIPAA certifications. So that will be added to the set. And we already have different dedicated data regions for European Union, United States, and Australia. If something is missing, let us know. As I mentioned, we're always happy to hear what our customers need. And this concludes the main part of the webinar. So if you have any questions left, let me look at the chat. I see that Peter has been very active, as well as Anton. Thank you guys for helping through. So any other questions that I can answer, that will be, we still have time. It's only 10:42 here on the East Coast. So I'll wait for a second. And well, no questions is still, and no questions for now. I wanted to mention that we have a blog and the community. So if you need any help, you can also reference the community first, because it's not only monitored and answered by our tech support, it's also a lot of active Plumsail users of various products that chime in and provide their solutions too. Subscribe to our LinkedIn. We have a regular newsletter coming out there, which is not repeated on like blog or other resources. So there's some great information, and we have an active YouTube channel where we regularly post new videos going into detail on various scenarios, features. Each product has a dedicated playlist, so you can check it out. And if you are looking for any video guide that's maybe missing, again, let us know. We'd be happy to help with that. See, no more questions. Well, I know we all have a very busy week ahead of us, so that I will be ending this webinar. Sorry. It was very nice to see you all. I hope you had great value. Oh, there we have one question actually. I already have a working solution that generates a summary report and integrates with Power Automate. I'm currently testing Plumsail Documents to create PowerPoint presentation from the report. However, the presentation generated by Plumsail arrives empty. No content is passed through, and the resulting file contains blank slides. Okay, great question. I would really suggest shooting an email to our support at plumsail.com, but just to give you a quick guidance of how you can troubleshoot it, maybe yourself, to see if everything runs correctly. So when you have your Power Automate flow, make sure to test it like I did today. And then once you test it, you can see where maybe something is not is not passed through. Sorry. And also, please make sure that the tokens work. For that, you can go back to the, you can just test it if it's a process through the test the template. And as you can see here, where we have the Plumsail Documents action, we have the inputs. So you can always check if the inputs are there and if the information actually passed through. But yeah, send us an email and we'd be happy to take a look at actually what's happening, include some screenshots. So yeah, and I see Anton is also answering here. Yes. Okay. Well, as I mentioned, if there's anything specific to your templates, to tokens, to your actions, take some screenshots, send them to support@plumsail.com, and our team is always happy to take a look and give you guidance and see what's actually happening. Thank you again for joining. It was my pleasure. I hope to see you at the next webinar, and yeah, have a great day. Bye.